Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I hope you're doing well. I'm excited. The team in first place going up against a team in second place, and any type of sport and any type of game, you love to see it, right? Because you know that you're going to see a high octane competitive match. As a band here start to roll out, CBX hitting Zoe, Ezreal, LeBlanc. So we see two bands actually going out targeting Akarat, still subbing in for JJH, and then for Conduit, they actually decided to go ahead and ban Volibear, Trundle, and J4. So some jungle bans. What are your thoughts on this? Mhm, mhm, mhm. Right. Ooh. Yeah, and so in terms of the Alawi, I do like this pickup here for Squig. We see him typically sometimes go for this set versus Tom Kench. I think we seen him play that matchup once or twice, and both times it went in the favor of the Tom Kench for the enemy. He's also a really good Tom Kench player himself, but obviously with CBX picking that up, he decides to go for his signature Alawi. So I like that pickup there. And Swain bot lane is actually quite the menace. Once he gets his Leandries, he really starts pumping out a ton of damage. And then, of course, using his ultimate, he has that pseudo tankiness with his healing. So he's definitely a menace in that bot lane, but a lot of people don't really expect it because you don't see it too often. So I'm excited to see how Genetics pulls it off here. We do see the Misfortune locked in as well as the Amumu being hovered and
Ooh,
most
interesting.
likely going to be locked in. So again, Amumu is definitely a highly contested pick. We've been seeing pros play it in EU West as they get ready for Worlds, and we've been seeing it a ton last week as well during the midseason tournament.
Yeah, it's really good. It's good with the misfortune. It's another team fight button that they can use there coming out of the bottom lane. They probably want to pick it up to take it away from an easy being cheesy as well. He's gonna maybe go back to the tried and true Leona here. Really good to pick and engage. Somebody with CC when you have Swain.
Mm-hmm.
So he can get the pullback on his passive for the extra CC duration, things like that. So should be good. We're gonna drop into the second ban phase here, looking like some mid lane bans we're probably gonna see here. Some Corki coming out, not gonna see that scaling pick. The Poppy comes out here, so we will see a different jungler this time around for Kappa Crusader. So interested to see what he comes out here.
Okay, so I do think they're saying that they're unable to hear me. Oh wait, hold on. See one of our homies in chat, Karate Kid 007 said we're good now, so hopefully
It was me.
hopefully
I done
oh
goofed
was
it. It
it
was me.
Oh, hey man, don't worry about it. It's all good. We bounce back as we usually do. But like you said, the Corky being banned out as well as the Graves, and then Poppy as well. So Kappa Crusader, I know he said that he kind of wanted to play something different, right? He told us that he kind of was hoping that he wouldn't have to be on Trundle and Poppy duty. So I'm excited. I want to see if maybe he might bring out maybe one of the new junglers, maybe like a Kiana or like a Talon or a Zed. Some of these other junglers that got buffed. But we do see Ash here with the last ban for CBX. So taking out some 80 carries. So Ezreal being banned out, Ash being banned out, Corki being banned out. Typically, we do see him going mid, Misfortune being picked up, and we do see
Oh,
the Hecarim
the
being hovered.
horse coming in
Yeah,
here. We haven't seen a whole lot of Hecarim since the run you over meta was a thing where you would go chem tank and it was like Hecarim Udyr every game.
right.
You just build straight tank on Hecarim and his base stats were good enough that you would still just run people over and just do a bunch of damage with your Q. So since then his Q has been changed. It scales more off of like his bonus AD, so you like have to build damage in order to do anything on Hecarim, which means you're not as tanky obviously. So we haven't seen
Right.
him since then, but still does a lot of damage. I would assume he's going to go Divine Sunderer here just because it's a good item, and Hecarim likes to have those Sheen proc because he presses Q all the time. We're going to see Yone come out here for the side of
Mm.
CBX in the mid lane. So
Yeah, that
Blind
means
picking that solo laner. Oh,
oh, and interesting. So the
oh,
Seraphine, let's go CBX. Hey, they knew what they were doing going up against Conduit over Casted. They lock in the Seraphine. I'm super excited. So that actually makes things extremely interesting. So it looks like we're probably going to be seeing an Amumu jungle just
yeah.
because when I did see the Yone locked in, I was like, okay, that's a ton of AD. Where are we going to get that AP? Are we going to see an AP jungler? But instead, that Amumu does obviously get moved to the jungle role, and Amumu does have a lot of ability power. In fact, all of his abilities do AP. So we have the Amumu there, and I do like the Hecarim pickup as well as Silas being locked in here. Silas is always a really good option. He can take away the Mumu ult. He could take away the Seraphine ult as well. You combo that with the Onslaught of Shadows as well as the Leona, and you have some really potent team fighting. But in terms of Hecarim, we've seen it before last week actually in the mid-season tournament where they were going up against a comp that wanted to come into them. Right? Again, you have Yone, you have Tom Kench, you have Amumu, you have these champions that want to go into you. Again, I talked about it last week. Seraphine ults you as you come to it makes you come towards the team. So it's one of those things that Hecarim can really take advantage of. So I like that pick here as well.
Yeah, Conduit's team is like really hard to kill in these fights. You know, there's not like a true like mage or like marksman on Conduit, so they're all fairly tanky, have fairly like sustained healing, you know, out of basically everybody except for Leona, who's just a tank herself. So it's gonna be I think it's gonna be pretty difficult for CBX like their carries to like do damage because like they're just like no one's a full tank, but you know, no one's a squishy mage or marksman either. So it's going to be pretty interesting how these fights are going to turn out. I feel like these fights are going to be long just because we have all the healing from, you know, Swain, Leona, Hecarim, Silas. All these champions can just drain tank you to death. So it's going to be on CBX here to like get in, start the fight, CC people so they can't, you know, fight back, get all that healing. Having those big team fight ultimates like we were talking about before, you know, Misfortune, Amumu, Seraphine, pulling everybody in is going to be key in these fights like they usually are. Objectives are going to be pretty important just because like if we RNG into Ocean Soul this game, you know those teams are going to be fighting for it because if Conduit gets Ocean Soul with these champs, they're like actually just going to heal off damage. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. Team fights are going to be pretty explosive this game. I would see a lot of really good ultimates on both sides, and both these teams are just, you know, raring to go. They know what's at stake here. It's their number one, number two. So Conduit wants to stay undefeated on the season. CBX wants to be the ones to take him down. So it should be a fun series.
Yeah, they're undefeated, right? So they have that huge target on their back end. You know, the gauntlets are off, you know, holding back. It should be a slobber knocker. I'm super excited. And again, just looking at the team comps, I really do like the Seraphine pick here as well on the side of CBX. Just because being able to go that, the Putrefier, I believe it's called, where she'll be able to give everybody... healing cut, the healing reduction, just because like you said, Jabba, they have a ton of healing on their team comp, so nobody on the team's gonna really have to build in executioners or anything like that. Seraphine will be able to just go ahead and give that to everybody with her shielding, something that she's gonna have a very often. So again, you eloquently put it, Jabba. The team fighting is going to be great on both sides, and I am super excited. With that being said, guys, we are just going to be loading into the game, so stay tuned. Game number 1 of CBX versus Conduit is coming up shortly. Grab yourself a drink, grab yourself some food. Don't worry, we'll be back soon. And when we're back, we're heading straight into the action.
All right, everyone, welcome back. We are into game number 1 here between Conduit Esports and CBX. We had a bit of a pause at the start of the game here, so we got in a little late. But we are here now, and it looks like both teams are just going to 5-point spread to start.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And no interesting rune choices. It looks like everybody's just going for standard setup. Riv is going with the Arcane Comets. On the MF, we have seen Misfortunes go various types of of keystones. We're going for the Comet here as we see a top lane. Just a little bit of a dance off and some moving back and forth for Fox Anderson Cooper. Love that name, by the way. Man, there's some good names in this. There's no name, there's Anderson Cooper. I like it.
We see Yone here going in and getting a deep ward here, so we're going to try and see if we can scout out Kappa Crusaders' early pathing here. Hecarim probably still a full clear champion. We haven't seen him in a while, but I assume he still has the same early game plan. Full clear several times in the gank. You'll see him at the 10-minute mark, and you'll be 2 items and running at you really fast.
Exactly. Just kind of what his champion does. As we see it clear here, Mumu going to be starting on his top side. So he's going to be pathing down bot. So we won't really see a fight for the Scuttle Crab. He actually smites his blue here. So yeah, I think that we're not going to be seeing too much early action unless the action comes out from the laners themselves. As you see Genetics landing a hook here, and Easy being cheesy, walking up, landing the stun. No Name getting really low already. Down to half here, having to chug a pot.
Like we said before, this lane's going to be all about landing the CC here for Conduit. They have a lot of it, and they can kind of synergize off of each other. If one of them hits it, it's easier for the rest of the buttons to come through. As we see another hook land.
Yeah, another hook lands, and Riv getting chunked here. So No Name able to heal back up after using the shielding as well as using the health pot. They get the level 2, but here in the mid lane, Akarat and Kaitin going forward with some trading. Akarat sustaining a little bit, using that Kingslayer. Looks like he's going to be able to come out, I would say, even in that trade. They're equal in CS as well, but I think that this is how this lane's going to go as Kappa Crusader comes in from the bottom side jungle. Kaitin fails his flash, and First Blood goes over to Kappa Crusader.
All right, that was a really quick gank here from Kappa Crusader on the Hecarim. You can see he did a full bot side clear into level 3 mid lane gank here. So usually on Hecarim, like we were just talking, most people do a full clear, so you're not going to see the jungler for another minute or two, 90 seconds maybe. So they're capitalizing on that information that Kaitin and CBX thought they had, and Kappa Crusader going against the grain there, and the element of surprise working out there for him. Ganking earlier than normal leads to the first blood.
Yeah, and it's something that as a jungler you kind of have to identify, right? You have to, you can't always play cookie cutter. You can't always play the exact same in every single game. So it's really good to see that adaptation and keep the enemy on their toes. As looks like he's gonna pick up this top crab here. Akarat just moving up there, gonna be able to secure that for his jungler. As we see Bra Rock getting pushed into his tower. Wave stacking up quite a bit. It'll be interesting to see if maybe Cap Crusader might want to try dive, but it is a Tom Kent, so he is going to be beefy, he is going to be tanky, so I don't know if that's the smartest idea.
Yeah, if Squig was able to get Bra Rock on the Tom Kent lower, then maybe it would be a possibility, since he's basically full health underneath the tower. I don't think they have the damage and the tankiness themselves to dive the fish quite yet. So it looks like it might be a repeat mid gank here as he's going in.
Yeah, he knows that Kaitin failed his flash earlier, so he's able to just be a little bit cheeky and do a little bit of damage. As we see Anderson Cooper looking to land the kill, and does. There goes Kaitin putting out the damage. Akarat actually has a flash. Ignite goes out. Akarat goes down. Kaitin able to pick up the kill. Kappa Crusader ticking, getting low, but is able to survive just on a sliver of health.
Yeah, really good gank there. Just basically in their face. Kappa Crusader's there in the lane. Anderson Cooper's like, yeah, it doesn't matter. We could just get the kill real quick. So like that was, they saw all the people that were in the area and decided to go for the play anyway, and it works out. So getting that trade kill back onto Kaitin is the one that picks that one up. So gonna be sitting pretty in this lane now. It does get the wave pushed out in mid as well too. So it's gonna be a pretty good lane state here for the Yone once he gets back. Cloud Soul is first on the map here. Scuttle Crab just dissipated on that side of the map, so teams will have to...
Ooh, but it looks like on bot side, looks like they're getting aggressive. Genetics and Ain't Easy being cheesy actually flashing in, trying to get super aggressive here on No Name. No Name getting really low, but able to get out, having to use flash as well. So summoner spells being used. Ain't Easy being cheesy using his flash, and then No Name using flash in response in order to get out with his life.
Yeah, I think that's a good trade. Your junglers on this side of the map making a play, blowing some summoners right before you're thinking about making a play for the dragon is always really good. Kappa Crusader finishing up, clearing his camps on this side, and Ain't Easy Bean Cheese is walking over right now to get a ward near the dragon, it looks like. So Genetics is taking a base, so they couldn't do it immediately. They'll probably wait for him to come back, but
yeah,
it gives...
Oh, sorry, my apologies.
I was just saying, Annie's Being Cheesy has a roam timing here to go mid, so didn't quite get it there, but you can see what they're trying to go for. Kappa Crusaders here is clearing out the enemy vision, and can take the dragon. Probably not now. Obviously, his bot lane's not there yet, but can look to counter jungle if he wants.
Yeah, and we see Riv down here pushing out this lane. Looks like they're going to want to get a reset right after the bot lane for Conduit did. So looks like they'll be able to take that back. And we do see a little bit of fighting going on in the mid lane. Akarat just being able to sustain up from that trade quite nicely. so nothing too big there. I think that that's how this lane is typically going to go. It's going to be a 2v2 as we see Anderson Cooper go in. Akarat is actually fighting, stealing the ult away and using it against Anderson Cooper. And here comes the ult from Kaiton. A beautiful setup with the Q into the ult, but Captain Crusader is able to trade kills. Now it's 1v1 against the junglers, but look at the damage from Anderson Cooper, able to pick up the double kill. And here on the top side, we see Alawi going up against Bro Rock. And he actually gets extremely low. The tentacle comes out, and the tentacle slaps him down. Solo bolo for Squig, and he's able to take that one, and a plate to take that home as well.
Taking it home, Solo Bolo in the top lane, making up for the lost 2v2 in the mid lane for his team there. It was really close. Anderson Cooper, you saw there, had the ultimate available. So even though Akarat on the Silas stole it away, used it first, Anderson Cooper on the Amumu actually level 6 before Kappa Crusader, as there was another fight in the bot lane.
Gosh. Yeah, another fight in the bot lane, but look at the damage that Riv did. They didn't expect him to put out that much damage, and to be honest, I didn't either, and looks like they just completely turned this fight on its head. Ain't easy being cheesy. Gonna have to hit the blast cone, and oh my gosh, the Arcane Comet! That thing just, with the heat-seeking missile and able to pick up the kill. It's actually quite unfortunate, Jalo, because Ain't Easy Being Cheesy and Genetics had to jump on No Name, right? But the E from Genetics actually whiffed. And because of that, he was only able to get the follow-up CC off of the Q from Ain't Easy Being Cheesy. And they're focusing down the Seraphine. They're focusing down No Name, which allowed Riv to just free hit and essentially just pick up easy kill onto Genetics and chunk out Ain't Easy Being Cheesy.
Yeah, really good 2v2 kill there. Like you said, it was Conduit that started off the play, and they were able to, you know, make use of that missed skill shot. Like you said, they are able to turn around. Riv, playing a true marksman here, has more damage than, you know, Genetics does on the Swain. Swain does a lot of damage like over time. He needs time to be in these fights and to kind of drain everybody down with his ultimate and like rotate through his spells. You don't have to do that in 80 carry. You just shoot people. So they were able to get that fight just because it was so quick. And Misfortune, you know, a little like I don't want to say she's a bursty champion, but she's like burstier than a normal 80 carry would be. She's, you know, like auto with Comet does a lot of damage really quick, so are able to take down the bot lane here. But it actually looks like Conduit are first to the Dragon here. Kappa Crusader spending a lot of time on this bot side of the map, so they are going to, looks like they're going to take this first Drake. Cloud here, as we can see Anderson Cooper on the Amumu, taking the cross map play, getting that Rift Herald done so we can at least get that objective under our belts. Trading objectives is good, but you need to be able to use the Herald, you know, in a good way to be able to make the most out of it.
Exactly, and you like to see it just because you don't want to just give up objectives for free, right? At least this way, he's able to pick up the Rift Herald just in case. Like you said, we still have to see if he can actually use it optimally and get value out of that. But it's better to have that than to not have it. As you see Squig just being an absolute bully here, continuously shoving wave after wave and putting that pressure onto Bra Rock. He is up quite a decent amount of CS, so he's doing really, really well up here. It is an island. I mean, it's Tom Kench. Typically, Tom Kench and Amumu, you're not going to be seeing too much ganking coming out, as we see Anderson Cooper just camping that mid lane, and Akarat doing a lot of damage to Kaiton. So looks like both junglers are just hovering around mid, as we do see bot lane roaming up. Riv putting the
Crusader
slow
might
down.
be caught here.
Yeah, and Onslaught of Shadows actually has to be used on Cap Crusader in order to get out.
Yeah, getting that cooldown is good. It's fairly low cooldown, and you know Hecarim doesn't take flash, so he uses that as his escape. But that means any team fights in the near future without that ultimate, that really hinders Hecarim's, you know, ability to team fight. You know, he's basically just has to run at people, and when you have Misfortune, Seraphine, it's hard to run at those champions specifically. So without that ultimate, his fighting is fairly weak. So we see more trading here in the mid lane. They keep trying to get priority over this lane so they can roam around and help their junglers, help out their side lanes.
Ooh. Oh, take a look at the engage from Kaizen, and the ultimate actually gets stolen away. Amazing play. Bars for days. Haha. But there we go. Akarat able to pick it up. Amazing. Kappa Crusader was actually just coming around for the insurance. Yeah, Akarat got hit up first by Kaiton's ult, but he quickly stole it and ulted him back, was able to pick up the kill, and I think he lived on like 50 life there.
It was very, very close. Yeah, as you saw, use the flash both summoners used for Kaiton. They're really good. Just, you know, I feel like Aqua plays Silas a lot here. Really looking really confident on it, knowing all the interactions of what he can do when he steals away that ultimate. That's 2 times in a row we've seen now where he's taken the ultimate from somebody and then immediately used it in a good way. It's not just, you know, using it randomly just to like get a passive stack or something. He's using it, and he has like some pretty good ultimates to use this game. the first two he's used Amumu and Yone, really good at locking people in place, getting into the backline. So we're gonna have to. I'm excited to see how he continues to use that skill as we go forward into the games. We see more team fights. We see double Seraphine ultimates flying at each other and stuff. It should be pretty fun, especially since actually hold that thought. We have a bit of fighting.
Yeah, we had a little bit of fighting, and Riv is actually doing an insane amount of damage, basically just soloing Easy being cheesing here, taking him down to half HP. Luckily, be able to get away because Anderson Cooper was down there. Actually used a flash, was looking for an engage here, but instead just going to want to take some plates by activating the Rift Herald.
Yep, they do have, I think, one plate down on this bot lane tower already, so with 3 of them there, it's pretty hard to take the entire tower. The minion wave is pretty small, but they actually can just do it. Yeah, they had more damage down on the tower than I thought at the start of this play here. So good on them. They're going to get the entire tower, get a bunch of gold onto those members. We do see some Conduit Esports members looking like they were going to go into the jungle there on the bot side. They used the the Squire's Bloom to kind of check for vision there. Decided against it. They were running away, and they were going to be out in time, I think. So they decided to just go back to the mid lane and the jungle as we see more fighting here.
Yeah, more fighting.
Bot lane roamed up, though.
Actually comes in, bot lane roaming up, and there's the ultimate from the Misfortune. Akarat goes down, and Riv just doing so much damage, already having the Eclipse to the lethality build coming out on the side of Riv and already paying dividends. 3-0 and 0 as we see Kappa Crusader coming in, but he's just here to defend the tower. And one thing I did want to point out as well, Job, is we do see the Executioner's Calling picked up for Chitin. So I know I mentioned it in Champion Select that they do have the Seraphine, so Executioner Callings probably didn't need to be picked up just because they're already going to be getting value that way. But he really wanted it for the landing phase. He figured that there was a ton of healing, and he wanted to be able to combat that matchup. So picked it up early, able to sustain a little bit more in lane by taking less, cut down the sustain, allowing him to take a little bit more damage. And ultimately there could have been the difference because the ultimate from Riv just finished him off.
Yeah, you can see Balrock on the Tom Kench here building a Bramble Vest as well, having that heal cut for himself. They don't want to have to, wait for second or third item for No Name on the Seraphine to pick it up, so it's good to have it just on several other members. It probably means that Riv on the Misfortune won't have to pick it up, because I feel like if you're going this lethality build on Misfortune, it feels kind of awkward to build Mortal Reminder since it's a crit item and you're not going like a traditional 80 carry crit build. So Riv probably won't pick one up just because his support and his support can easily apply it to him. So I feel like it's interesting. We've seen a couple different players like on different teams on different champions building lethality into like tanks, and usually we've seen like a couple of Graves builds where you play lethality Graves into like 3 tanks we've seen in the past, and it did not work out well. So yes. Riv does have a pretty early lead here. You can see has a CS advantage, 3-0, 300 gold shut down, is doing well for himself, but like lethality into tanky teams usually doesn't work out. So we'll have to see if he's just gonna chat it out and just outplay everybody and do a bunch of damage anyway, or if the game goes long enough and the members of Conduit get tanky enough, have that the armor that they need, because they don't need to be that much magic resist. They have the armor they need. They have the damage, so they can get their healing, so they can just outlive Riv's damage. We'll have to see.
And Riv actually having to flash there. Akarat also looking, and then there's an onside shot. So Cap Crusader getting in there and able to get No Name into the team. The Seraphine ult actually completely whiffs, and Anderson Cooper says, I'm going to continue this fight. He continues to go, actually whiffs the second Q, but Anderson Cooper is able to pick up the kills. We see Genetics on the broadside, able to actually get the shutdown from Anderson Cooper, and he's healing, he's sustaining, but one more auto will do it. One more auto will kill him. No Name able to pick up the kill. Akarat now going in. Akarat going down to Bro Rock. Ain't Easy being cheesy is caught in a Riv just doing so much damage, free hitting this entire time. Now 4-0 and 3, able to pick that up, and nice root from Seraphine, and there's Chitin able to lock him up, and it looks like they're gonna be able to get the kill, the eat from Bro Rock, and it's a clean ace for CBX.
It's a 5-for-1 there. Only Anderson Cooper going down for the side of CBX. A really good team fight. They were able to space out even though the Seraphine ultimate whipped, she was able to stay far away from everybody. Same with Riv, able to channel his ultimate, do a lot of damage across the board to the enemy team. They're able to stay in the bag, basically untouched the whole fight, and Anderson Cooper doing a great job of getting in there. He gets that initial catch on a Kappa Crusader, doesn't use his ultimate, and then has it later on for hitting multiple couple people. So it looked like Conduit, they weren't really all there at the start of it. It was kind of kept Crusader getting caught out at the very start, like we saw. So
Yep.
CBX, more members there at the start means they get a better team fight. They're able to pick up the second dragon of the game, that Infernal Drake. And if I'm going to pan over on the map here, see, we're going to have Mountain Soul this game. So tanky members for anyone who picks it up. I feel like Conduit kind of makes use of that more since they are the tanky, beefy team. So both teams fighting for that, I would assume. We had a brief pause there. Looks like someone DC, but they got right back in here. So we should be good to continue as both teams reset after that team fight mid.
Now, for Genetics, he was able to pick up his Leandries as well as having the Sword Boots here. So the thing about Swingbot is definitely not an early game champion. Definitely a champion that wants to scale up, wants to get items, and is really a menace in team fights in the mid to late game. So unfortunately, fight's not going the way on the sides of Genetics, but he's going to be able to shine probably for the next Dragon fight, or maybe even right here on the Scuttle Crab. As you see, no name, everybody here actually on the side of CBX. Except for Kyton in the bot side. They really want this crab, but it looks like ultimately it's going to be conceded over to the side of Conduits. Looks like they're going to be able to pick that up here.
Yeah, we're fighting for second Rift Herald, it looks like here. Yeah, both teams want to get this objective and maybe crash some tier 2 towers. You can see Kyton in the bot lane is just crashing tier 2 towers by himself here. Doesn't have teleport, so they're committing to this 4v5.
Yeah, they are, and Akarat actually steals Anderson Cooper's ultimate here. And I think that this might actually be a worth it trade for the side of CBX. I actually like this call here, because look at how much damage that they're getting down on that bot lane tower. Like, yes, they are able to pick up this secondary Rift Herald here, but will they actually get any value from it? Whereas in the bot side, they're getting guaranteed value. And we see that Kyton's actually able to pick up that tier 2. That's huge. Ain't Easy being cheesy. Genetics also got pretty chunked there as we see Riv chasing them down, and now a flash actually has to be blown, and an ultimate is used and almost able to pick up Ain't Easy being cheesy. As the flash comes out, Anderson Cooper lands an ult, and Riv is able to get the last hit. Just a tip, exactly. The kill coming up for Riv. So Riv extremely fed as we see him in between the towers. Onslaught of Shadows. He's fleeing. He's getting hit by the tower. The ultimate comes down. So the shutdown actually goes out. And there's a stolen ultimate from Aquarat. But here is Kyton. Oh, the Seraphine ult. Beautiful. But it doesn't even matter because Kyton is doing Yone things and a triple kill is picked up.
Yeah, a lot of things just happened there, actually. It was really good for CBX. They were kind of, making that Rift Herald play take as long as possible to give Kyton all the time he needed to take that bot lane tower. They didn't commit to a fight because they knew it was 4v5, so they just committed to, getting that guaranteed value, like you said. And then they get even more off of it with a great team fight here in the mid lane. It looked like Riv was a bit overextended, and I think he was a bit overextended. Did end up going down in the end, but the rest of his team able to be close enough and follow up here. That beautiful Yone ultimate, catching 2 people immediately, third kill right away, and they're transitioning into Dragon, but we're going to fight for it.
Yeah, and really nice engage here from Kyton. He's able to catch 2 of them just off his Q3, and just like that, they're able to pick up the kill. So take a look at Squig now, actually getting eaten up by Bro Rock, and he's right in the middle of the team. So not only does the Dragon get picked up, but his life also gets picked up. So 2 kills instantly donated to CBX. They now have 2 Dragons to their under their belt, and it looks like they're in commanding control here, drop almost a 10k gold lead.
Yeah, this game is just all of a sudden exploded out of control. We were fairly even throughout the early game here, but a couple of really good team fights, really good one-sided team fights, I might add, for CBX. They've catapulted themselves into the lead here, picking up a bunch of kills. A lot of them going on to the people you want them to go on to as well, too. Kyton getting a triple kill in that last fight. Riv getting a triple kill, I think, earlier. Has 2 completed items now. Kyton isn't too far behind. Rift Herald being used in the top lane, so it looks like Conduit is going to get a little bit back here. That turret does go down. Looks like Rock is going to go and catch that wave there before it hits the second tower. But yeah, exploding lead here for CBX. Like you said, 2 Dragons now under their belt as well. The rest of Conduit was just kind of slow to rotate to that last Dragon. So Squig was kind of going for a Squig play there, 1v5, seeing if he could do it. He did a lot of damage.
He did.
But he was eaten up by Rock right away. So even though the tentacles are there, sitting, waiting, and they're in the middle of 5 people, if Alawi isn't doing anything, they kind of just sit there. So good use of that ultimate there to stop the cooldowns from being used, stop the damage from coming out. They can pick them up and the Drake. And yeah, lots of items being completed on the side of CBX now, almost 2 on everybody.
And one thing I want to point out, Java, just take a look at your minimap and look at how fast that Riv is moving on that Misfortune. Yomu's Ghostblade actually got buffed in this
Yeah,
last patch,
very
and a
good.
ton of people are building Yomu's Ghostblade. I've seen some people building it first on some champions like Rengar and things like that. But more often than not, if you're going a lethality style build, you build it second. And so that is what Riv decided to go here. That along with Strut having that passive movement speed, he's going to be able to chase people down. We've seen it time and time again where he's able to just get that last hit, right? So now he's going to have that extra movement speed with the Yomu's Ghostblade active as well to continue to chase people down and get that last Q, maybe that last auto to secure kills. Looks like he does pick up the last Whisper as well, just so he could deal with some of those tanks. So overall, I'm liking the build. They are up 10k gold now. So they are in a very commanding lead, and this is their game to lose, right? Like, they have the lead right now. They have the items that they need. They're just playing it slowly, playing for objectives, and now it's up to them to pretty much inch away their lead if they try to lose this game. Oh, as we see here on the top side, looks like Otter is gonna have to just try to steal an ult and go in, but ultimately he was dead. I mean, I like the attempt because like there was nothing he could do, right? The wave is crashing, Anderson Cooper's there, Riv is there. Even if he backs up, Anderson Cooper has the Q, has 2 charges on the Q, so he's gonna die anyway. So that's unfortunate, as we do see Chitin getting rooted up here, but ultimately not gonna do anything.
Yeah, Aquarat kind of, caught in between a rock and a hard place there. Can't really run away, didn't have flash up at that moment, and, can't go into 3 people and kill him either. Looks like we're going to start up an early Baron here. Aquarat still dead and does not have teleport. Both top laners are in the bot lane with TP on each.
Yes, and let's take a look at Chitin here doing a ton of damage. Now remember, his clone,
He actually kills him. Wow.
And he's actually able to just kill him just like that and snap right back to the Baron pit. They're able to pick up the Baron as well. So not even a steal attempt able to go out because of how much damage that Chitin does. And a flash actually has to be used on the side of Genetics instantly.
Yeah, it was a really good call by CBX here. Chitin is actually just so strong. He saw there. He just runs into the entirety of Conduit, chases down Kappa, and just kills him. So no chance for a steal there. It was going to be a miracle Hail Mary play from Swain Q or something. So very low percentage. So good call on the side of CBX to go for that. They can start to push their advantage even further now. Pushing in these side lanes, didn't have to use teleport on Rock on the Tahm Kench, so he can continue to split. I don't know how good Tahm Kench splits into Alawi, but he can start to do it, start to push in these big waves, meaning Squig can't join for fights where Alawi wants to be, so making it harder for them to just play their game. CBX in a very good spot here.
Yeah, and so we do see that the Putrefier is built by No Name, so that's going to be applied to Riv here. As you mentioned, Riv not having to build that and being able to use his ult and easily apply it to everybody once that shielding is on him is going to be really good. You mentioned it earlier on in the game as well, Job, as Rock was able to pick up that Bramble, as well as Chitin already having now his Mortal Reminder as well. So we got a ton of heal cut. This is something that is a no-brainer, right? We talked about it in draft that there was going to be a ton of healing, as we do see a cheeky brush here, but double roots, they are able to see them there, and we do see the dragon about to drop down from the sky. Now, are they going to contest it? I feel like they might have to, but look at how much damage they're doing, Job. It looks like it's just going to fall.
They one bang it. Yeah, it's kind of it looked like they may walk in to try and contest, and they just like, you know what? Woo! We can't lose a fight here.
Look at that speed. The Yomu's Ghostblade goes out. Riv tries to land his slow, but unable to. I feel like if he did, they might have been able to do something because Rock was right there as well. Using the Abyssal Dive, unable to get anything. And he's just here in the backside, just being annoying right now, Jabba.
Yeah, this jungle is not belong to Conduit anymore. As we see Chitin forcing flashes. Oh, very close. Got the Leona ultimate also, so not going to have those 2 big cooldowns to try and counter engage against this siege here. Baron up minions going to just chunk this tower. They have both side lanes pushing in their benefit as well, does CBX. So this, let me check actually how much time is on the Baron buff. It's almost gone. So they'll have to back and reset probably one more time here and look to push their advantages elsewhere.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that right now they're in such a commanding lead that I honestly don't see how they lose this. So we do see Squig getting caught out and the E instantly coming out as Rock is able to pick up the kill. And it looks like No Name is able to get Ain't Easy Being Cheesy. Squig using his ultimate, being a menace. No Name going down here. Cap Crusader doing a ton of damage. Chitin trying to survive, trying to drain tank it, is able to. And Genetics is actually able to drain tank throughout the whole thing. Look, he's back to full HP and did a ton of damage. This is something that Swain can do. I talked about it in the mid to late game. This is what Swain is able to pump out.
Yeah, you can see that they have so much AoE damage, so much AoE sustain in these team fights. We get a turnaround ace here. Conduit coming back here. Still down 10,000 gold. Doesn't matter. They can win a team fight right in front of their inhibitor. It's a 5-for-3 members of Conduit go down in the end here, but they're able to wipe at the end of the Baron power play here. They're going to get a mid lane tower for themselves, get a bit of money in their pockets. Collected some shutdowns in that team fight as well, so... not over by any means, but a good first step in coming back in this game for Conduit, as we do see a bit of a pause here. We'll have to wait and see how long this takes here. We'll kind of hang out, wait and see. This gives us some time to look at more items here. Everyone basically having an item advantage on the side of CBX for the most part. As we see, a couple of items did get completed for Conduit because of that last team fight, so they're in a bit of a better spot now.
Yeah, and I mentioned that it's funny, right? Like literally right before that team fight happened, I was like, oh yeah, I don't see how anyway that they can lose this game when they're up 10k gold, and then we just see Conduit say, oh yeah, hold my beer, and they just went ahead and took that team fight. So they're still down a lot, as you mentioned. They're still down a lot, still up in terms of items on the side of CBX as well. So I think for the side of Conduit, they're just going to have to continue to try to get fights like that, right? Being able to just layer their CC and being able to just try to win the 5v5 game, just because they are down and they are going to have to try to take those chances. Maybe it was a little bit of an overstay. You mentioned it, Jabba, that the Baron was about to run out as well, and they were continuing that push. We were thinking maybe they might have backed and reset and stopped that siege, but maybe a little bit of an overstay. Hindsight is 2020, so we are able to say that because we've seen it happen. But yeah, I mean, after seeing that fight, I guess Conduit still has a fighting chance.
Yeah, I would say just like compositionally here, if you were to like take away hide the gold for a moment and just look at the champions, you would say that I would think Conduit has the better just straight up 5v5 run at each other comp, just because they have so many hard to kill members, so much sustain, things like that. So I think when that Baron ran out, it would be better for CBX to kind of split up the members of Conduit. Chitin really strong on this Yone, can basically just run at and 1v1 anybody. Riv and No Name are hard to kill just because they can slow you repeatedly, and Riv does a lot of damage at this point, and Rock with TP can kind of just be anywhere. So I think that's maybe what they'll try to do here, split up the map again, just because their carries do a lot of damage, and Rock can join from anywhere, and Anderson Cooper can hold people in place. So would not be surprised if they go back to a bit more, playing the rest of the map. They have their side lanes in good spots to keep pushing.
Yeah, and we see Chitin just being an absolute Chad here, having his snapback. He's just like, I can go ahead and face check. I can go ahead and be aggressive, as he is looking to take this red buff here. But I wonder if we will see a little bit of a fight. Rooted up, Cap Crusader is, and looks like the red buff is going to reset. He's going to try to take it. He gets rooted out here. Ultimate comes out, and look at the wombo combo from Riv. The Seraphine MF combo, as we see Chitin doing so much damage. Genetics in the middle of the fray, actually having to use his Zonias, but ultimately goes down. No Name able to pick that one up, and Riv as well as Chitin just doing so much damage, but really, really beautiful Seraphine ult. I love to see that.
It was such good positioning here from Riv. Riv probably tripled his damage in the entire game with just that Misfortune ultimate. It hit the entirety of or everybody that was there, at least, because Alquart wasn't there. He was in the mid lane on the Silas. It hit everybody for basically the whole duration, and everyone just got slowly chunked out by this 3.5 item Misfortune. In the meantime, Barrock, which is splitting in the bottom lane, was able to get all the way up to the tower here. They're going to get this inhibitor. They got mid, and now they can go top immediately after this. So splitting up the map, getting members in good positions where they can use their ultimates, and then just taking structures. Good game plan here. Dragon's coming up in 50 seconds as well. They can just dot the I's, cross the T's, finish out this game cleanly with every objective on the map taken.
Yeah, and look, their ultimates are already almost back up. The MF ult's almost up. Seraphine ult's basically back up. Anderson Cooper has ultimate ready, right? So they are able to maybe actually, looks like they might try to do a bush cheese, but
Sneaky Fnatic Bush here.
yeah, they're just waiting patiently. Maybe if anything, they could just go around for a flank. I wonder if they decide to go for this play. As you said, the dragon is going to be spawning very shortly, but they do have the dragon advantage. They can
Yep.
easily just trade this dragon and go for the baron, and it looks like that's exactly what they're going to do. And I think that's really smart, right? They already have double super minions, bot lane as well as mid, so being able to pick up this baron and then continue their siege on the top side is basically going to guarantee them victory.
Yep, we've seen this. We've talked about it in a bunch of games previous weeks in the Blue Water League here. Teams that have dragon advantage can make choices in their objectives that they take. The team that's behind doesn't have a choice. They have to go to the dragon, otherwise the other team that has the advantage can just get the soul, and then the game's really hard from that point. But if you're the team in the lead, like CBX is here, they can say, oh, you get a Mountain Drake, good for you. We're just going to get a Baron and win the game. So it's a win-win situation for CBX, and it's like very low reward play on the side of Conduit, but if they don't do it, they lose. So really good game state awareness, map rotations here from CBX. They get the Barons, they're second of the game, and like you said, they already have 2 inhibitors, they already have double supers. They can just march it down in the top lane, probably win one more team fight here if it looks good, and take game 1.
Yeah, and you know me, I just want to be a little bit biased here. You know how much I love Seraphine. I just want to give a huge shout out to No Name, having an amazing game, actually, like a really good game, almost 100% kill participation on this Seraphine.
Very close.
And yeah, like it's insane. We've seen some really good ultimates, good positioning as well, only dying once, especially on a champion like Seraphine, where like if you just get caught, you just die basically. So really good stuff, but it's just great team play all around, right? Like you could say it for anybody on CBX. They're all playing absolutely great, and here it is. We called it, right? They got the Baron buff. Here comes the siege. They're able to take that top inhib. Minions are coming in on the bot side as well with that Baron buff from Brawl Rock, and they're just gonna play it slow and chip away against these Nexus towers. As you see Akarat going in, they're gonna have to try to fight. We see Cap Crusader on the top left side as well. Akarat actually gonna have to go into stasis, but goes down, and look at the damage from Riv, and look at the damage from Kyton, able to pick up the double kill. Genetics goes down, Cap Crusader in the backside, but it doesn't matter as No Name is able to rule him up, and it looks like everyone goes down. Anderson Cooper says, get me out, I'm gonna just head into the fountain. Ace, game over. CBX hands Conduit their first loss in this series.
We knew it was going to be a good series coming in here. It was pretty close in the early game, but as we saw here, what does it end up being, a 19 or so thousand gold lead for the side of CBX. Really good team fighting. We saw Conduit had just a bit of a glimpse of hope there in the late mid game, where they got that random ace in their base there, right as the Baron buff was timing out. So we saw their comp was good. They had the tools they needed to team fight, and they got a really good team fight even though they were behind so much. The thing you just gotta take into account though is if they're not behind, they can just start to steamroll those team fights, earlier in the game, get those advantages. So they fell behind a bit early after the early game was pretty even. They lost a couple of those early team fights. CBX was able to snowball that into several Baron buffs, several team fight wins, get those objectives under their belt, and they just kind of run away with it at the end here.
Yeah, and the 2 champions that we thought would do the most damage definitely did the most damage in this game, and it's just a hard thing to do. Like when we were looking at the team comps in draft, I talked about how I did like this Hecarim pick, but ultimately we didn't see too much. Like you said, Job, in the early game there was a little bit of action there, but ultimately falling behind after those consecutive team fight losses, we weren't really able to see any really good engages on the side of Cap Crusader on that Hecarim. In fact, having to use the Onslaught of Shadows a couple of times just to disengage, just to get out, which is pretty unfortunate. But you know what? He tried something new. That's how it is. Sometimes, you got to change it up. We've seen the Poppy, we've seen the Trundle. This is the second time he actually brought out the Hecarim. I believe that the first time in an actual game in terms of the Blue Otter League for the season as a whole, just because the last time we've seen it, it was in the mid-season tournament. So I like the adaptation. I like the attempt there, and we'll see if maybe he does go back to his more signature picks in the next game, right? We'll see if maybe the Poppy gets picked up, maybe the Trundle gets picked up, or you know what? Maybe he continues to try something else.
I'm interested to see what draft adaptations come out here. We saw a lot, if I remember correctly, we saw a lot of jungle bans and a lot of mid lane bans here that kind of ended us where we are here. So maybe we'll see something different. Maybe we'll see more of the same to try to put people on things they're not really used to. And we'll see if if Conduit can strike back here in our best of three to see who can remain at the top of the standings. So we will cut to a short break when we set up game number 2. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back to see who can take this game. All right, welcome back, everybody. We are jumping into draft very soon here for game number 2 between Conduit Esports and CBX. CBX kind of ran away with the first game. It was pretty even in the start, but then it ended up being a 10,000 gold lead or somewhere about there. So we're always interested to see how teams adapt, what they change in draft, what they change in their picks, what they change in priority and who they counterpick, things like that. So waiting for the captains to be ready and start the draft here, and we will be underway.
Yeah, I do wonder if we will see them put any ban pressure on the side of the MF. Maybe they decide to take the MF away. We've seen Genetics play it himself. Maybe they feel like the MF wasn't going to be too big of an issue, as we do see draft kicking off. Conduit is going to be on the blue side, and they instantly ban away the Yone, as Ezreal also gets banned. So they do not want Genetics on his Ezreal. We talked about it a couple of times as well, Jabba, last week, that he is really, really good on that champion.
Yeah, really good on that champion, and they saw how good Chitin was on the Yone, getting that out of here, as we see a couple of bans returning as well. Volibear, Graves, and Poppy all returning to the ban list. A lot of jungle bans like the first game we saw, and we're seeing Alawi be banned here as well. So even though they didn't have that much success on it, they know how good Squig is on it, which means Amumu is up. So
yeah,
we like we said before, we've seen Aneasy being cheesy pick that up as the support role. We've seen, obviously, it's been picked up in the jungle by people as well. So
yeah, and Amumu being locked in here means that CBX obviously can't have it, as they performed really well on it in the last game, but J4 being locked in, and J4 typically a jungler, but we talked about it in the last draft, can flex to top, and we do see J4's going tanky builds. I have been seeing some lethality, Jarvan as well, being able to do a ton of damage.
Yeah.
And we also see Thresh being locked in. We haven't seen a Thresh in a while, but that does indeed get locked in for CBX.
See, Corki being hovered here, also a bit of a flex pick. You usually see it in the mid lane. We haven't really seen it bot for a while. And something interesting that I've been seeing, like you were talking about, the pros kind of boot camping in EU for Worlds. An interesting build I've been seeing people run is they go Corki mid and they go Exhaust Barrier with Summoner Spellbook as their rune of choice.
Interesting. And do you know why they might be doing that, or
well,
what's the benefit there?
The thought process behind it, from what I've seen, is Corki's just a fairly safe champion. You have Valkyrie, your W, to get out of sticky situations in the package whenever that cooldown is, and you're unstoppable during that, so you can use it as an escape. And Corki historically is just a big sit back and scale type champion, so you don't you don't need Ignite or anything to try to get kills in lane. You just try to stay safe, don't die, and scale up, and then you have Summoner Spellbook to kind of flip through Summoner spells as the game goes along. So that is kind of what I've been seeing in the pros. As we see, they've been playing solo queue on EU West, things like that for Worlds. Olaf is locked in here in the draft client, but it is actually Maokai that is locked in that spot. It's a visual bug, or they misclicked or something. So it is Amumu, Corki, Maokai on the side of Conduit, and then we see Vayne to round out the bottom lane here for CBX.
So one thing I also want to point out is Aquarat has been subbed out for JJH. So JJH is back into the game now, back into the starting lineup. Was off last week during the midseason tournament, was off in game 1, but he is now back into the game, and all of his champions are up. We do see an Ash band coming out, as well as an Azir, but all of his champions are up, so I feel like he's going to have fun on that Corki. You talked about the Vayne being locked in, so Vayne with Jarvan being able to have that condemn is going to be pretty nice, having the Thresh for that safety. And CBX actually decided to ban out that Misfortune, so another 80 carry off the table here. Now, where's the Maokai going to go? I was just thinking about that, because the Mumu locked in and the Maokai, are we going to see a Maokai top, or how's that going to go?
Yeah, there's some flexibility that can go around here. So it could be a Mumu support or jungle. So then if it's Mumu jungle, it could be Maokai support maybe.
Right, right.
Maokai, like traditionally a top laner, but we haven't seen a whole lot of Maokai recently. Like tanks top haven't really been the meta for quite a while, unless it's like Scion or Ornn are basically your tanks of choice in the top lane recently. So we'll have to see if that Maokai does go in the support role. It'll be another, tanky melee engaged support for any ZB and Cheesy. So we would fit the flavor of champions we're used to seeing out of him. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. These picks coming up will probably dictate where that goes. As we see Diana be picked up here for CBX. So since we have Jarvan already, most likely Diana mid lane. But like we said, could be flexed around as well. We'll have to wait and see. Set is a champion that Squig has played a lot of in the top lane, which then would put Maokai not in the top lane. So we'll have to wait. Set also can be played support. So there's a lot of flexing shenanigans going on right now. It could be just like Set Maokai bottom lane or something. That'd be wild. But if it's Jin, then probably not. Jin Maokai is interesting because you have a lot of, you can root and CC and everything stack on top of each other. So that is what it will be. So most likely a Mumu jungle and Maokai support here. As we see the last pick to come in for CBX, most likely a top lane pick. Again, we'll have to just wait and see. We're on our toes till the very end.
Ooh.
So does that mean it is Jarvan top? Rise mid, Diana jungle.
That would be friggin' awesome. I would love to see that. Like, that would be such an entertaining game just because we haven't seen that before yet, right? So,
right.
If that is indeed the comp that they're running with, now, it could easily just be a J4 jungle Rise top, Diana mid. They could easily do something like that as well. So, we don't know. Again, there's a ton of flexibility here. But regardless, the fact that CBX is doing this has me extremely excited because that means that this game is going to be an absolute banger. Honestly, Joe, I don't know whose team comp I like more. I just feel like the game itself is just going to be exciting.
There's just a lot of cool synergies that both teams have, right? So like if it is Jin Maokai in the bottom lane, they have, Maokai root into Jin root into the knockup and like Maokai ultimate and all that stuff. So they have a bunch of, they can synergize between each other with the CC plus, a Mumu ganks, things like that. And then they just have on the side of CBX, they have Jarvan Diana, which is just,
dive, holy.
Group them all up, put them in the barrel and have Jarvan dunk on top. And then, like you said, the mini interaction between Jarvan putting up terrain for Vayne to condemn people into is, something unique and fun that can happen. So
also, when you think about it as well, Rise using his Realm Warp, being able to get Jarvan into the backside and get some engages that way too.
They can just deliver people right on top of the Corki or the Jin. So interesting to say the least. It's a handful of picks that we haven't seen out of a lot of the players too. Like we haven't seen genetics on Jin in recent memory, I don't believe, unless I'm just like forgetting a game or something. So
no, I think you're right.
Yeah, so haven't seen Jin, haven't seen Maokai. We've seen Amumu in the jungle for the first time today. We haven't seen Diana, so it's a lot of picks that we haven't seen. And I think this is leading, that's because of this patch. There's a lot of just good champions on this patch. Like you were saying before, we might see some lethality assassin junglers. We haven't quite yet, but before this patch, you would have been laughed at if you said we were going to see Zed jungle in a tournament game. So so interesting to say the least. We'll have to wait for the last couple of champion lock-ins here before we truly know where everybody is going, but the games should be starting in the next few minutes here.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of League of Legends, right, Job? I really love what they do with Worlds patches. Obviously, they don't want to change the game too much, but having a huge pool of a lot of strong champions is always good, right? Because us as spectators, us as casters, whether it's a Blue Otter League or just as spectators for Worlds, you want to see a huge diversity amount of champions because it keeps the game fun, it keeps the game fresh, and that's what we're going to be getting in this game 2 of CBX versus Conduit. Who's going to take it? Are CBX going to be able to give Conduit their first loss, their first official loss of the season? We don't know. We're going to have to find out in game 2. Stick around. We're going to load into the game. Grab yourself a refill on your drink that you got a little bit earlier. If you're still hungry, go ahead and get some more food. If not, that's fine. You're watching your calories. That's cool too. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
All right, everybody. Game 2. We're ready. We have some spicy picks. Looking at the rosters here, it looks like we ended up with Ryze top, Diana mid with Ignite, and it is Jarvan jungle. So not exactly as spicy as we thought. You know what is spicy though?
What's spicy? Tell me.
When 4 people don't buy items at the start. I don't know. I don't know if you're seeing that or if that's a bug, but that's what I'm gonna go with for now.
So I think it is a bug, just because on my screen I see everybody bought items except for Squig.
Oh, okay.
Squig does not have any items on mine.
On my screen, both top laners and both junglers haven't bought items. So.
Oh, you might be having that spectate glitch where I was having before, where like it doesn't show the items bought, and then the champions are also invisible and you can't see their name. Yeah,
yes, I am seeing that. Interesting. Well, we'll hope it fixes itself. Yeah, wow, that I'm just now noticing. That is very odd.
Yeah, because that's what was happening to me like literally every single game last week. Definitely annoying technology, am I right, guys? That's how it goes, but yeah, it's out of our control. We see Anderson Cooper starting at his blue, and then over here we also see Cap Crusader starting at his red. So both junglers starting on their bot side.
This is.
I guess you can't. I guess on your end you wouldn't be able to see them, right?
Yeah, I actually just thought Cap Crusader was solo starting his buff, but it died really fast. So
I think we might have to. You might have to exit and then reconnect back into the stream. I think that's probably the only way to fix it, because that's what I was doing last week.
All right, so what we're going to do is I think we're going to pause, take a quick break to sort out this tech issue so the game's actually viewable. So we were going to cut away briefly, and we will be right back once this gets fixed.
Oh, we see a little bit of fighting on the bot side as Genetics is actually able to pick up a kill. And we see a trade kill actually go. A heal being used by Riv as well. Ain't Easy being cheesy. Going to just slowly back up here. So 1 kill on each side. Sorry about that, guys. We are now back into the game. Hopefully everything is back and working for your viewing pleasure. Everything good on your end, Jabba?
That's such a weird bug. I had never seen that before. Those issues you were having last week, I never had. So that was interesting to see.
Yeah. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me stop that thought as we see Anderson Cooper actually come up here. Instantly rooted. Squig gonna try to stay alive. Flash having to be used. He's walking to his tower. Might be able to get out as Broadrock actually flashes and takes 2 tower shots. And Squig is able to pick up the kill. Is this guy a genius or is that just luck?
That's luck. He's typing get baited in all chat right now, but that was just oh, we have another fight.
With the flash, the follow. Anderson Cooper's running for his life as we see TP coming out. The rise is up here. Broadrock is just like, oh hell no, I don't want any of this. I'm about to run away too. So they're able to get the TP. They're able to get the flash. So it's not the worst. Pretty good stuff so far from Conduit.
Yeah, we didn't see the first early action here. It started off 1-1. It was trade kills in the bottom lane. We saw a bit of the action, and yeah, Squig just getting dove. He gets dove in a lot of Conduit's games, and he like always seems to come out with a kill and 4 HP. So like, because it happens so consistently, maybe he is just that good. I don't know. It can't be everybody messing up, right? Like
because it's different teams, it's different players, and it's consistently happening. You know, there's a common denominator here, Job, and it's Squig. So I don't know. Maybe it's all a part of his master plan.
There's something in the coffee, I think. So getting back into the game here, Conduit bot lane roaming around this early dragon, maybe looking for play. Kappa Crusader is on that side of the map, and they have a push in bot, so they can look to take the dragon off spawn here. I didn't quite see what it was. It is in Ocean Soul first.
Beautiful combo by Kyten, instantly bursting, using that ignite there as well. I wanted to point that out, that Kyten actually doesn't have TP. Kyten does have the ignite, and it pays dividends there. There's actually nothing that JJH could have done there.
Yeah, used both sums there, timed with the level 6. It actually didn't even look like he used his ultimate there, so still has that up and available. As Squig gets pushed underneath the tower here again. I feel like this is probably what this matchup looks like in the top lane. Ryze kind of just permanently pushes in Squig, able to AoE down the waves, but in Teamfight, Squig is going to be a menace, able to pick up most likely Anderson Cooper, who flags and drags in, going to pick up that Jarvan, try to dunk it back down onto the Rise, onto the Vayne. This bot lane matchup is something that my teammates talk about a lot when we play Clash and things.
Ooh.
Actually,
Well,
hold that thought.
Squig just instantly having his level 6 and just running straight towards him and almost taking him out. You've seen how low his HP was, but he's playing Set. That's a season 10 champion. So he's just like, let me go in. Unfortunately, unable to pick up the kills. You see Kappa Crusader chilling in the cut here as Anderson Cooper is also in that dragon pit. So both junglers here on the bot side. Is Kappa Crusader gonna try to do anything here? Easy being cheesy, dings to level 5, no name stepping up, and the Q lands for Kappa Crusader into the root, into the W, and the kill is gonna be picked up by Kappa Crusader. Easy kill, but on the bot side in terms of the dragon pit, CBX is able to pick that up as we see them walking down. Both Kyton and Anderson Cooper, they're going to be looking for something. But Anderson Cooper is super low from that dragon, and he actually gets hit by the W from Genetics. TP coming out. Or is there going to be anything that they're able to do? There's JJH using Valkyrie trying to get into range, but the Condemn, he says, no, sir, get away. But there's the Q. But there's an ultimate from Kyton. Beautiful ultimate, beautiful moonfall as two people fall down on the side of Conduit. Make that 3 as Riv is looking to turn it around. Anderson Cooper chasing down Genetics using his fort shot. Anderson Cooper is gonna have to back up. Genetics reloading. Riv continuously autoing, but tanking the minion wave. Doesn't get hit by the W. If he did get hit by the W, the wave would have continued wailing on him and a potential trade kill. But instead, just a couple kills going back and forth for Conduit and CBX.
Yeah, it was really close, actually. Like you said, beautiful Diana ultimate there from Kyton, getting 3 people, I think it was. It might have been all 4, leading to 3 kills here, able to pick that up. And they're able to pick up the Dragon on that side, too, before that whole big fight broke out, as the hook goes wide here.
Hook and play definitely goes wide as we see Kappa Crusader hiding in the cut once again. This time
back.
level 6 and able to land his ultimate on 2. But take a look at the ignite. It's ticking and down he goes. Shut down. But it looks like Thresh is going to fall as well. So No Name and Riv both go down. Genetics actually came back to lane and instantly died. But some kills go to the side of Conduit Esports.
Yeah, really good return gank here for Kappa Crusader on the Amumu. Has level 6 now. Riv deciding, I don't remember if he had used Flash in like the early fight or not. So if he didn't have it and has it now, but because he does have that cooldown, so it looked like he either didn't have it or knew he was dead and just wanted to save it here. So
but Squig stuck between a rock and a hard place. Actually gonna have to duck Rock actually back, but here comes Kyton able to get in there with the E. Ticking from the ignite. Is he gonna fall down? I don't think so. I believe that last tick of the shield was able to allow him to live. And Squig is always surviving on these slivers of health.
It was really good. There was ignite and there was 2 ranged minion autos flying at him as he went off screen. So I was waiting for him to die there, but he says calculated in all chat this time. So he gets out with 1 HP again. It's the Squig special.
Talk about Merc Treads having value there, right? That early magic, if he doesn't have that, that's double AP. If not, he's probably dead there, right? Yeah,
Merc Tread's really good on everybody this game. Like you said, double AP, reducing the CC duration on the root and the Vayne stun, I guess, are technically the only things because everything else is a knockup. But double AP, Merc Treads are good. I don't think it reduces the duration of Thresh Hook though, because it's like 2 mini knockups or displacements technically, but I'm not a support player, so I don't need to know these things about a support player. So anyway, Anderson Cooper here, taking a break from his 60 minutes special to take the Rift Herald. They tucked the first dragon as well, so no trade of objectives this game like we saw in the previous where one team got Herald, one team got Dragon. Anderson Cooper on top of it this game, going to get both for himself. Does have a CS deficit in the jungle. Kappa Crusader up about 15 or so, 20 CS, but that's to be expected. Jarvan not the best, camp taker, farmer, likes to gank more, and is doing well in that. So
here comes the dunk, so Squig fighting Anderson Cooper, but he doesn't know that Kyton is also here as well. And Kyton, they both dodge the W from Squig, so Squig should just fall here. He actually gets a flash out of Anderson Cooper, and Squig, once again, but there's no way. Is he gonna live? Hold on, the Moonfall comes out, so he's able to pick up the kill. Kappa Crusader comes in on the backside and able to get a kill onto Anderson Cooper, but there's a Realm Warp. Broad Rock is trying to focus on Kappa Crusader. Kappa Crusader actually has to queue over to a minion, so he's away from the towers. The camera pans over the bot lane, but it goes back to the top lane. Kappa Crusader is an Alcove gamer at the moment. There's the Q going on to Kaiton. He's tanking it up. He's pretty tanky, but ultimately he's going to fall. So Kaiton's able to pick up the kill. Brorock's going to be able to get another wave into the tower here, deny a little bit more EXP, but Squig does have teleport.
I was gonna say it was really close for him buying enough time in that fight for Squig to be able to TP in and try. They're gonna try and go for a 2v2 or something. So
yeah, but take a look at the
2v2.
No man landing that hook between two minions. Nice chase down by Riv, popping the out, popping that tumble, and continuing this chase here from Ain't Easy Being Cheesy. 2 more autos will do it. There's a condemn into the wall and a double kill. Beautiful, beautiful hook from No Name. That was like literally right through the line of 2 minions.
Yeah, he got 3 points with that hook there and 2 kills. So really good play here out of the side of CBX's bot lane. Something I was trying to talk about before, this Jhin into Vayne matchup. Jhin just really hates when people can get in on him, and we can see there once the hook lands, Genetics trying to get away. Vayne good at getting in on the Jhin, getting up in his grill. So once that happens, it's curtain call for the Jhin this time. We're able to chase him down there, as we see.
Look at this package. JJH going in. He packages it in and instantly dies. He says, "Hello, delivery. Here is a kill right on your doorstep." And here comes Capital Crusader. Doesn't actually do anything in terms of trying to lock down Kite, and just lands a Q and instantly backs up. So just a kill donated by Amazon. JJH handing that over, but unfortunately unable to secure the dragon there. So 2 dragons already on this side of CBX, but on top of that, Jabba, take a look at it again. Kaiton, Riv, these are the 2 players that carried last game, and these are the 2 players that have the gold in this game.
Yeah, Riv on the Vayne here already have a fully completed item. Genetics still sitting on just the Noon quiver here, so 10 CS lead. You see, like you said, both the carries having shutdowns already as well. The CS deficits in the top triangle don't really matter when you have all these kills and have all these dragons. Even though they're leading in kills and the drakes, the CS lead makes the gold lead kind of even. It's only like 1,000 or so. You would think it would be more, but scaling into the late game is what CBX wants to do. They have Rise and Vayne, some of the best scaling champions in the game, and they're already off to a great start.
Gosh.
So, oh wow.
Yeah, Riv is really strong right now. We see Kaiton using the double dash technique. Ignite going down, they just walk away, throwing up on the Mo as TP's coming down. Looks like we're gonna have a fight. Nice hook from No Name as well. Capital Crusader has to walk through the box, and he actually gets taken down from Brorock on that rise. Really, really like to see it when you're a top laner and you invest that TP that you're able to pick up a kill. And it looks like they're gonna be able to set up a dive.
It's a dive angle.
Minion, and here is the hook, here is the flay. The root comes down, and there's Anderson Cooper able to scoop up a kill, and there's another kill going to the side of Brorock. So they lose that entire wave. They're probably gonna lose this second wave here as well. Get some tower plates on the top side. Squig not having his TP, so he's going to get tower plates there. But look at mid lane. That tower was also taken away as well. So a ton of gold going over to the side of CBX.
Yeah, really good map movements here. Like you said, Squig is getting some alone time here since Brorock teleported down for this play. He gets some alone time on the tower, but they trade it in mid. Kaiton gets the entire tower while Squig only has 3 plates. And then, yeah, like we're seeing here, they're going to get basically, this entire tower here, plus a bunch of kills, plus all those minions denied into the tower. Yep. They're getting just advantages on top of advantages here. You see Riv has a level lead on Genetics, same with No Name and Ain't Easy Being Cheesy in the support role. Kaiton getting solo and XP's 2 levels up on JJH here, and has 5 kills, and has tier 2 boots, and has a bunch of and is up in CS now. Like, it's the early snowball starting even earlier in this game here for CBX. And yeah, just 2 drakes. Like, you keep counting all the advantages that CBX has here in this game. It's going to be hard for Conduit to come back in this one already. They're trying to scrounge up the jungle cams that they can, the ones that CBX didn't take on their way out. But yeah, it's interesting. They do have some scaling options. Jhin and Corki very good in the late game, but they have similar scaling options on the side of CBX, and they're getting there faster because they have a lead. So it's going to be hard now. That 1,000 gold lead we were talking about before is even greater now. You can see at the top of your screen about 3.5K. Next dragon coming up at 90 seconds as well. CBX in a pretty good lead. They're doing okay.
Yeah.
They're doing okay.
before the next fight, I actually want to throw you a question, Jabba. What do you think Conduit have to do here, right? Like, do you think that they just have to play it safe and scale up? Like, the next dragon is going to be Soul Point. Can they afford to just donate that, let them have that, and then potentially fight them on the actual dragon? But here comes Cap Crusader. Hold my tongue as flashes come out. JJH getting poked out here by Rise. Oh my god, look at that damage. The Rise nerfs came out, but it doesn't even matter. Rise is still an absolute menace. Looks like I don't know. I wanted you to answer the question, but
I don't think I'm gonna get time to. Yeah, I'll try to answer it really quick before this team fight happens.
Yeah.
They're scaling on both sides. There's a lot of shutdowns on, the members of CBX. It's just free gold sitting there as well as towers. Getting a pick is really easy.
But here comes the dunk. This guy goes in like he's Michael Jordan. Easy being cheesy has to come out. Riv actually getting super low as the second Q lands. And nice curtain call from the side of Genetics. Able to snipe out and able to get the shutdown. But looks like the team is split. 3 members are in the backside. Genetics living, but he's ticking with the ignite. Is he able to live? He is. Bro Rock getting super low. Squig trying to go back in, but Squig actually gets knocked by the flag and drag. But he still has his W. He's able to pick up the double kill. Squig is able to live, but Squig actually, I spoke too soon. He's actually going to die. And Anderson Cooper as well as Chitin are able to pick up the kills. A back and forth affair, but ultimately CBX is able to pick up the kill and able to pick up this 3rd drag for themselves.
It was Ace and 3 members on the side of CBX died here. What I was going to say before the team fight came out is you gotta the first steps for Conduit in coming back in this game is just getting those shutdowns off of the side of CBX, and they did. They got 2 pretty good shutdowns. None of them went over to JJH on the Corki, so that kind of sucks. He's the hyper late game scaling champion, doesn't have any extra money, so that's a bit unfortunate. But they do collect some of that gold. I was gonna say it's gonna be hard for them to fight for the 4th dragon, but I don't think they could fight for the 3rd one. So giving that and trying to get some gold on your carries is probably the best move, even though it doesn't feel good. So they end up being forced to give the 3rd Drake anyway. So game by no means any easier at this point, but some shutdowns were collected, so they have a little bit more money than when they started. You can see even though they're behind so much, that team fight was closer than you would have thought. So if they're able to get a bit more incremental advantages here, those 5 for 3s are just going to start becoming 5 for 4s, are going to start becoming 4 for 4s, and you're going to eventually slowly get a lead.
Yes, Cap Crusader actually goes in. W on the Jin does get used. Lantern does get taken. So both sides not committing. Just trying to see who is going to play. It's a game of chicken, right? Who's going to back up first? And it looks like they both back up at the same amount of time as Chitin is just easily able to take down this 2nd tower down here on the bot side. His passive, honestly, every 3 hits, just doing that additional damage. Doing a lot there and able to secure that tower for them.
Yeah, it's good that I think it's good that Chitin is deciding to split push on this champion. Nobody can kill him, and he basically just 1v3'd in the last team fight and killed everybody. So if they send one person to deal with the Diana, they either can't deal with him and he gets the tower anyway, or he kills them also. So good for Chitin. He's getting towers for his team, making sure they can't Conduit can't get those random picks to get steal a team fight away, just because they're getting, if they commit on the 3-man, they're gonna lose structures like they continue to do. And that's on top of the fact that Barok on the Rise got top lane tower as well, so they basically just get 2 towers there for free because Conduit can't really fight anybody. So they're doing well to stay in the lead. They have 6.5k gold lead here, almost 7, and the 3rd Drake, and now they have Baron. I'm sorry, they have Rift Herald, yeah. So they can use it on these tier 2 towers. They could even try and get an inhibitor in the bot lane if they wanted to, because since Baron is coming up soon, they have Vayne, Diana. They actually could do Baron fairly early and it would die really quick.
Yeah,
so
Vayne plus Rise.
Or Rise and Diana. Rise just machine gun spells out, and Diana, like you were saying before, has the attack speed steroid on her passive, things like that. Diana does a lot of damage to objectives when left to just free hit on it. So it looks like that is what they're doing here. They're stacked up in the Baron area. Anderson Cooper does have the Rift Herald, so if they see somebody out of position on Conduit, that Rift Herald's going down, and they could just do Baron here 20 minutes in.
Yeah, and I do really like the Rift Herald take here right before the Baron spawns, just because now they do have that pressure where they can use it mid, like you said, maybe try to get an inhib, or maybe right before the dragon spawns. Well, hold on. Looks like we got to fight. It looks like we don't got to fight because it looks like we got a lantern.
Wow.
So I stand corrected there. But here comes the dunk. There comes the hook. And a fight is going to break out. And look at that damage from Kaiton. Damage going out. Ain't easy being cheesy. Going down. Look at Riv just free hitting in the backside. Able to pick up Squig as well. And here we see JJH having to instantly flash. Positioning not quite there, and looks like the Rift Herald is going to be used here. So you called it, Jabba. Looks like they're going to be able to take this tower, continue their siege. I don't know if they're going to be able to take the inhib here because they don't have a wave. The wave is coming. Below health bars, Anderson Cooper, jungle is balanced. He's just easily going to gore drinker there and use smite and get back to half HP here. And it looks like the dragon is going to be spawning very, very shortly. So I'm thinking they're probably going to want to reset here, set up bot lane, and then go for that dragon soul.
Yeah, Dragon Soul, easy pickings for them here. Both members on the side of Conduit have the members with teleport have them up and ready, so they can catch these side waves and look to fight for it. They basically have to fight for it. They're in a weird spot because Genetics is the one catching the top wave right now, with JJH has teleport and is available. So Genetics might be a little bit late to this. Both members with TP are in the bottom lane, so it looks like both teams are just gonna rush down at the dragon here. We'll see if CBX decides to go for Baron like they did in the last game. This is a little bit earlier in the game this time around, so it's a little harder to DPS rush the Baron down. I know we said that they do a lot of damage to it, but we're still only 22 minutes in. People don't have 5 items, so it'll take a little bit longer. Looks like mid push first, but we have a bit. Oh, maybe a dive angle, but it's really risky with Kaiton having his ultimate available.
Right, but now take a look. It's actually on the flip side now because Kaiton has a flank. Kaiton has a huge flank angle here. Here comes the package. JJH using the package very well this time as Bro Rock is really low. It looks like they're going to be able to focus him down. They're able to get the kill. And on the backside, it looks like Riv is able to pump out a ton of damage. 1-for-1 trade at the moment, but here comes Kaiton on the flank. Able to get 2 of them in his ultimate. Able to pick up a 3rd kill there. Able to pick up a 4th kill ultimately. And it looks like everybody is going to go down. That is an ace. That is a clean 5-0. 5-1 because Bro Rock did go down earlier on the catch. So it's a 5-for-1. Looks like they're going to be able to just go ahead and pick up this Baron as well as the dragon and get Dragon Soul.
Yeah, it's really hard call for Conduit in that team fight there. Like you said, Kaiton on the Diana had the big brain, massive flank there, and in those types of situations, the team that is being flanked has to make a call. They have to go on the 4-man and try to win the fight before the flank arrives, or they have to hot 180 and try to kill the solo person on the flank. But then if you do that, you turn your back to the 4 other strong members. So their call was to go on the 4-man. It kind of worked because they did catch out the Rise. They got the kill, so they trade 1 back. But even if you make the correct call there, it's still really hard when CBX's wallet is just bigger than yours at this point in the game.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
So they whether or not the call was correct, it was going to be hard either way just because they're so far behind Conduit is. So like we said, they get the 1, but then they get ace. They lose the Baron and the Cloud Soul. Gold lead is ballooned even further at this point. Item advantages, CS leads, gold shutdowns, 0 towers taken on the side of Conduit. It's like you said, it's going to be a clean game from this point on. I think out of CBX, they're going to use their Baron to push towers. They have Rise that can split push with TP. They have an Assassin that nobody can touch, and Vayne and Thresh. So it's really hard to get anything done at this point for Conduit.
Right, 24 minutes in. We got a fully stacked, or almost fully stacked. Is it 20 or 25?
25 right? For Magi's, yes.
Yeah, so almost fully stacked Magi's, a Void Staff, as well as the Sacred Hats, the Death Cap as well. So Kaiton is an absolute beast here. And oh my gosh, what a hook from No Name! And just like that, Genetics is going to go down. Maybe they need to dunk there, Anderson Cooper, but it's his TV special. He wanted to get the shine. But it looks like Ain't Easy Being Cheesy is going to go down there on the backside. Cap Crusader also going to go down. Squig is in the thick of things, but Squig is going to be dead. And JJH is here on the top side. He's stuck in between the Rise as well as the Diana. Will they look to dive? Looks like they might. Rum Warp coming out. And no, he just baits him to walk into him, and a little bit of a KS. He's like, you softened him up. Let me go and use the Q and take the kill. And just like that, 25 minutes. Beautiful team play. Honestly, CBX, they're the second best team in the Blue Otter League for this conference, and you can definitely see it here, right, Jabba? Like, it was absolutely clean team play and clean individual performances as well.
Yeah, really good team fights, really good objective control in both games from Anderson Cooper. Getting Cloud Soul in both games as well as multiple Barons. They're on top of their map rotations and communicating with each other, and had really good team comps both times as well. So able to synergize amongst each other. I think MVP for me this game's got to be Chitin there in the mid
Yes,
lane
I
for
agree.
CBX, doing amazing work on the Yone, scrapping early in game one. Did go down once or twice in the early game. The 2v2 from Conduit was pretty good in game one, but using that Yone to great effect, chasing down the Hecarim, killing him before Baron, and as we see here, basically just 1v2ing, 1v3ing in several team fights in a row, topping the damage chart, doing great in both games.
Yeah, like overall, once again, you called it right. The mid lane was an absolute beast. The Yone, the Diana, just really strong. But then also Riv on the bot side for the AD carry, performing extremely well both games. Just overall great performance by everyone. Like everybody had their moment of shine. Everybody had their time where they were able to perform. We've seen some really good hooks. We've seen some really good Seraphine ults. We've seen some realm warp baits. We've seen good stuff overall. So it's tough, right? At the end of the day, even the best team, if you take a look at the NBA, the best team, the best records ever, you look at the Golden State Warriors, even they had to end up losing, right? Like, it's very rare that a team can go completely undefeated. And sometimes it's also good for a team to take their lumps. And sometimes it's good for a team to take a loss, because now you're able to learn. Now you're able to go back into the lab, watch the replays, see where you and your teammates might have made some mistakes, and then come back stronger. So, you know what? Maybe this loss isn't the worst thing from Conduit. Maybe it's just a learning opportunity.
Every game is a learning opportunity. You said it perfectly. So with this series win, CBX will now be tied with Conduit Esports 3-1 in the Blue Otter League West. I think we're West standings. So if this is kind of interesting to kind of think about this the rest of the season as it goes on, if both teams end up being tied for record as the season wraps up, if we're going to end up having any tiebreakers, things like that. I don't exactly know how all the tournament points and things will shake out, how many points you get for wins, things like that. But good series nonetheless. Excited to see how both teams do going forward. Always lots of fun to watch, lots of fun to cast with you, Mr. Ryan.
Likewise, man. Pleasure's all mine.
Thank you all for joining us in chat for week 5 of the Blue Otter League. This has been Jabba 2000 again with Ryan M. Thanks again for joining us. We will see you next time, same place here on Conduit Esports Twitch channel. If you want to make sure you're here on time, make sure you follow the channel here. You'll get a notification. You'll see us when we go live. You can also follow Conduit Esports on Twitter. They post and let you know where the stream is as well. That'll do it here for us. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.
Take it easy.